ACL family, what is up? It is ACL Championship Week. So much to cover. We're recapping the ACL Pro Invitational, which was a huge success. Hyping you up for the ACL Championships this week. And I got special guest Eric Ryder on the show with me today. This is the ACL Throwdown. This week's ACL Throwdown is brought to you by Johnsonville. You can't spell sausage without USA. Yes, these 2 weeks in July are by far the most jam-packed and crazy time of the year for cornhole players and fans. We are coming off of one of the biggest weeks in cornhole history at the ACL Pro Invitational. Got to give a huge shout out to Mr. Frank Maudlin and Mr. Eric Anderson coming away with the win in Coney Island. 16 of the best players in the country competing for $20,000, and they were able to fight through and take home the victory. If you want to read all about my analysis of the ACL Pro Invitational, you can go to the ACL website at www.iplayacl.com. Right on the main page, you will see the Coney Island Kings, an article that I've written talking all about the Pro Invitational and breaking down each game and how much of a huge success last week was. Again, congrats to Frank and Eric, but this week is the big one. What everybody has been training for all year long. It is the 2018 ACL Championships presented by Johnsonville, and I cannot wait to see what happens. Of course, we have to get our hashtag Trey's Takes in before my special guest joins me this week. And this week's hashtag Trey's Takes is all about pressure. Pressure, as you know, can bust a pipe. Pressure can make people throw great. It can make people throw terribly. It all depends on how you're going to handle it. The pressure will be there, but the question is who can handle it the best. When we talk about these ACL championships, we're going to have over 500 unique players from all over North America. Yes, that includes Canada, coming to compete for over $70,000 in cash. So when we look at who is going to rise to the top, we have to look at who is going to push through the pressure and who is going to maintain a mental focus all game. We look at other sports like football, like basketball. These top-level athletes have found a way to push through the noise, whether it be shooting a free throw with 70,000 fans screaming and yelling, or whether it be delivering a pinpoint pass with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter to seal the win. Professional athletes have found a way to handle the pressure when it matters most. And now it is time to see if cornhole players can do the same. When you look at people that have won nationals this year, like Ryan Windsor, like Matt Guy, and top finishers like Cody Henderson, they have been able to maintain a high level of play throughout an entire tournament. It's not about just playing well one game. It's about consistently playing well throughout an entire tournament. When it comes to a game like cornhole where 90% of the game is in your head, it is truly about being able to throw the same bag every single time. When we talk singles, when we talk doubles, there has to be a way to fight through the noise. I can't wait to see this week who is able to overcome that, because it will most certainly be the key to win this week. Like I said, I got a special guest today with me, Mr. Eric Ryder, my old man. He may have taught me a little bit about cornhole, but I'm going to sit down with him and talk about the Pro Invitational and how he played there, as well as how excited he is this week for the 2018 ACL Championships. This week's ACL Throwdown is also brought to you by Inside Tailgating, Next Grill, allcornhole.com, and ragingbull.com. Eric the Reaper Ryder on the show with me today. My old man, Pops. So glad to have you on the show today. Coming off of that exciting ACL Pro Invitational. Man, I don't know about you, but I am exhausted. For that Pro Invitational, you played with Jordan Kamba. You guys coming in tied for third place, coming up 1 point short in the semifinals. Overall, how do you think you guys did in the Pro Invitational? Were you guys happy with how you finished, and how do you think you played personally?
Happy with the way we finished? No. I know Jordan and we've talked and prior to, and we had a little bit of a strategy going into the Pro Invitational, and for the most part, we carried out that strategy. We just didn't execute as we normally do. Going into the first game, we both felt pretty good. We have both felt confident who we were throwing against, and unfortunately, we dug a hole for ourselves very early on. But and after we went down 9-0, I didn't have any panic in me whatsoever. I knew that it was kind of a freak thing for Jordan to be off like that on a round and give up that many, but I had every confidence in the world in Jordan that he was just going to, eventually find his groove, and he did. I knew that if I threw like I was throwing in practice, I felt really good early on when I first got out there, and I was hitting my marks. I was playing some one-on-ones with Adam Hissner and really throwing well. So I knew that if I settled down a little bit, if I took my time, and I knew that I would be okay and I could score some points on Cito if I stayed right there where I was in practice. So I felt good. We ended up winning that match and scored a lot of points in a hurry after we went down 9-0. So we really found our groove in a short amount of time, because that is a tough format. So much pressure. You're getting basically 5 throws a piece. I mean, it's a lot to think about. And really, what you don't want to think about it. So for me, it was just try and get in the zone, look at the find my spots on the board, don't think about anything else, and just throw. And I was real pleased with how I threw in both of our games. Obviously, we came up a little short in the semifinals. Not what we wanted. A bag here, a bag there. To come up 1 point short, that hurt, because then seeing the finals and how the finals played out, that was a tough pill to swallow. But overall, I can't be I can't be too upset. We got to play in a Pro Invitational the first time ever. Got in Coney Island, got to see New York, got to do the PR stops and just promote ACL and the things that Stacy has done and put together for us is just phenomenal. So overall, it was just a great experience.
Yeah, and we got to hang out in that house, and you guys played until about 3 o'clock in the morning and kept me up all night, so I appreciate you there. So, piggybacking off that a little bit, today in the ACL Throwdown, I talk about pressure, and I talked all about how it's because this game is so mental. I talk about 90% mental, the game of cornhole is, that so much of the game comes down to who can handle the pressure the best. When you're playing, do you like the pressure when it starts to build? And when it does starts to build, what do you do, and how do you focus when that pressure starts to mount in a big game?
It's funny. There's been, I've played thousands of matches. I've played in some really big games. I love big pressure games. What kills me is when I don't execute, and it's not normally that the pressure gets to me. It's normally I know ahead of time that I'm struggling and I have to really grind it out, and I really have to, laser focus going into these ACL championships. I started to play real well now near the end of the season. Did really well in the Conference Cup. Played some big games. Me and Rob Guthrie had a battle during that. I know me and Trevor had a battle, and those battles helped me to get focused for the championships going into next week, and to play the pressure in some of these bigger matches. I don't necessarily shy away from it. It's almost like I take it and I use it, and I use it to for my energy, um, to help me focus better. And a lot of times, what I need to do is, and maybe players hate to throw against me, but I like to throw. I like to slow the game down. I like to step back between throws. I like to make sure that I'm not rushing, because the minute I start to rush is the minute when I go left and right. And so I really need to make sure that I take my time. That helps me manage the pressure. I take a deep breath, and I can step back and refocus each and every throw. So that's kind of how I handle it.
I won't tell anybody that the reason you slow down is because you're getting slower in your old age. I won't.
Yeah.
I won't tell anybody that that's the reason. I'll let you keep thinking you're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Again, I got Eric Ryder on the phone with me today. Last question for you, Eric. So we're going into these ACL championships. I've talked with Cody Henderson. I've talked with Christine Papke, Frank Modlin, Alan Rocky Rockwell, all the big names, and they all agree that this is the big one. This is the one that everybody wants to play well. It is the biggest tournament of the year. We're going to have over 500 players. I want to know, what are the Reapers' goals for these ACL championships?
For singles, I want to be right there at the end. I want to be. That is, I mean, if you're a top level player, and you don't want to be anywhere but in those top two spots, playing on national television, then you shouldn't be playing the game. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I feel like going into this week, this is probably the most confidence I've had going into a week of Cobbs in the past 3 years. Gaining that confidence in conference, gaining the conference in the Pro Invitational, gaining some confidence there, really seeing that I can play with any of these guys. And I beat just about all of them at one time or another. But the goal here, especially in singles, is, obviously you want to take your smaller goals first, but the overall goal is to be there right there in the finals. Same with doubles. I mean, me and Brian Lynn, we won the conference, last conference cup, and we both played extremely well. And so we expect to be right there at the end as well. And going into the conference cup too, there's many different events, but singles and doubles, I want to make sure that I show out this year and make sure that people notice my play this year, because it's gotten better, and I feel like I'm ready this year.
You heard it from him himself. He is ready. He is fired up. I can't wait to see how you finish. I know you've had a long season for a lot of different reasons, and I'm excited to see if you can put it all together and finish strong. Well, that's all the time I got for you this week. We will see you starting on Wednesday for the ACL championships, and we'll see if the Reaper's back in form.
Eric the Reaper Ryder. I'm so glad I could have him on the show this week, and I know he is excited for these ACL championships, and I'm fired up for these championships. Can't wait to get out there to Cherokee and see everybody and see how they play this week. Make sure you tune into the ESPN3 and ESPN2 coverages of the ACL championships. The live ESPN2 coverage being at 2 p.m. Eastern Time next Sunday, July 15th. You do not want to miss that. We'll be bringing you the singles and doubles action from the championships. That's all the time I got today. I can't wait to see you in Cherokee for the American Cornhole League. This is Trey Ryder, and we will see you next week where we recap the 2018 ACL championships.